Hello everybody, I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Inspiration Studio in AutoCrit and see how well it works. Now, despite the fact that it runs on artificial intelligence, it can be quite useful to give you some ideas when you're working on your book. Now first, let me reiterate that AutoCrit does not write text for you. Its purpose is to merely provide ideas to help you continue with writing your story while giving you some feedback on how to structure your manuscript. So let's take a look at AutoCrit's Inspiration Studio and see what it has to offer. Now for this go round, I created a whole new file so that we can get an idea of how the Inspiration Studio works for Fiction Story Builder. Now from here, we're going to click on creating a new Fiction Story Builder idea. And then we have all these different fields we can fill in. Now, if we have an idea of how any of these we're going to play a part in our story, we can add it, and then AutoCrit will fill in the blanks. Now, let's say with our world building, we want to do Denver, Colorado, in 1875. Then we can take a look at general flora and fauna. Well, let's go ahead and see what AutoCrit thinks of it by hitting the refresh button here. Take a look at that. It took my world building and added general flora and fauna to it. So let's see, resources available. Why not? So let's go on to character building. So our protagonist, I'll say he's a gunslinger wielding a 45 Colt Peacemaker. A pair of plural antagonist. Hey, let's make it a werewolf this time, just for shits and giggles, and see what happens. Oh, we can add relationship characters, distraction character, emotion character, reasons, support, opposition. Holy crap. We can even include a beat sheet. Opening image, glimpse at the theme, status quo and setup. Wow. A whole bunch of random stuff here. I haven't really played around with Inspiration Studio much, mostly because I know where all my stories are going. So just out of curiosity, I wonder what the villains add pressure. As night falls over the dense forest of Denver in 1875, the werewolf's howls grow louder and closer, its predatory eyes fixated on the gunslinger as it inches towards their camp with primal hunger. The dwindling light casts eerie shadows, heightening the tension as the protagonist readies their Colt Peacemakers for a deadly showdown beneath the watchful gaze of nature's untamed beauty. That's actually not too bad, but I would make it a little bit more than that. To me, it just seems a little generic. I'd add way more flavor to it. Now, we can even do a beat for the finale, just out of curiosity. In the climactic finale, as the werewolf lunges towards the gunslinger with ferocious intent, a thunderous gunshot echoes through the forest, making the decisive moment when courage and primal instinct collide in a battle for survival beneath Colorado's starlit sky. Amidst swirling dust and bloodied fur, only one will emerge victorious in this primal dance of predator and protector in Denver's untamed frontier. Now, that's kind of fun because normally I wind up killing a lot of my good guys, so you never know. And it is kind of nice that AutoCrit isn't assuming that your protagonist is going to survive. Okay, so what if we wanted something to change? Well, let's say that our resource is available. We don't really like that layout, so we're just going to re-roll it. And it comes up with something new. Of course, it's kind of similar into the area of Denver in 1875, but you can re-roll this as many times as you'd like to find something that fits your story better. Or you can just use it as ideas and fill in the blanks yourself, which is what I normally do anyway after doing some extensive research. So now let's take a look at how the non-fiction story builder works. So from here, we just hit the non-story fiction story builder, hit the button for the ideas, and let's say we want to do a topic on World War II warplanes. Topic keywords, huh? Well, let's do something about the Spitfire. I wonder what else we got here. Cultural background problems, credibility. Oh, you can add all kinds of stuff here. Let me change the outline to be persuasive, historical and narrative, informational, or self-help. Well, I probably don't think World War II Spitfire is going to be self-help, so let's go with informational. So what kind of introduction is it going to give us? The author might begin the introduction with a gripping anecdote of a Spitfire's pilot's courageous aerial maneuvers during World War II, captivating readers' interest from the start. This section could touch upon the historical significance of Spitfires in air warfare, their technical features that set them apart from the other warplanes, and preview key aspects like production numbers, combat records, and lasting impact on aviation history to set the stage for an in-depth exploration in later chapters. That's actually kind of neat if you think about it, because there's a lot of things there that I probably wouldn't have thought of while writing a nonfiction story about Spitfires. But like the fiction builder, you got all kinds of different entries, and we can re-roll any of these that we want. We can do a conclusion. But what if we don't want that kind of a conclusion? We just hit re-roll, and we get something a little bit different. And if we want to copy all that, we just hit it, copy it to our clipboard, or we can make a note of it that saves it in AutoCrit. Now let's take a look at changing the mood. For this one, I'm going to use the story I've been working on for 7 in Wattpad. Now for changing the mood and the what happens next tools, it relies on where we place our cursor in the story. So in this instance, I'm going to put it at the very end of the story that I've been working on. So we just click on the back end there, and we're going to hit change the mood. Now, your text at the current cursor position, what emotion would you like to add to this scene? Let's say we want to add happy. Playful. Let's see. Let's do powerful, courageous, and make it so. So then AutoCrit will give us 3 different options that we can use for our story. Now we don't necessarily have to use any of these. We can just hit the button here to re-roll it again. And we get a few more options that are different. Now, changing the mood of the story can add a little bit more oomph to it, give it a little bit more life depending on how you want your book structured. And lastly, we're going to look at what happens next. Now, I've kind of played around with this just for the hell of it, and some of the ideas were a little bit on the fun side, so let's take a look at it. Now, what happens next works the exact same way as change the mood. You just click on where you want the AutoCrit to give you ideas from after. Then we hit the what happens next button. Unlike the other tool, this one will automatically populate some ideas regarding the previous text. So we can do unexpected twists, things that are most likely, and outlandish. Now some of them do have way more to it depending on how much of your story you have written. This one is only, I think, maybe 3,000 words into it. But some of the outlandish ones are kind of funny, and one of these days I want to use it. But like there was one, it was a Western story I was working on, and an outlandish idea was aliens coming down. So I'm like, I wonder if that's how they wrote aliens versus, or cowboys versus aliens. But anyway, as you can see, he notices a bright light descending from the sky above. The spaceship lands right in front of his car. Now, I promise you, there are no aliens in 7. That's the book I'm working on for Wattpad. But you can see that some of the outlandish ideas are kind of funny, and if anything, it's fun. But I have found that a lot of the times I've tried to use the what happens next tool, the most likely scenario is actually very close to how the story was progressing in the first place. Because when it comes to all my stuff, I already have everything outlined. I rarely use these kind of tools, but it is kind of fun to see just how close the AI gets to what is actually the plan for the story. And for the most part, that most likely option is really close to how the story is actually going to unfold. So as you can see, some of the ideas of the AI are a bit on the peculiar side. However, AutoCrit can give you some ideas on your own on how to progress with your story, especially if you're currently stuck. As I said, I would rarely ever use this part of the tool, mostly because I never have writer's block just because of the way I have everything set up. But I can see how it can be quite useful for people who don't outline or do have issues trying to come up with some ideas. I paid for the annual account of AutoCrit to save a bit of money, but I'm still not sure if I will continue using it once my year is up. I guess that depends on whether I find any good value in it. I plan on running quite a few of my books through it over the year, and thought if nothing more to compare my writing style to that is Stephen King, because I'm a dork like that when it comes to data comparisons. Anyway, the Inspiration Studio is kind of a fun tool to play with, and it does occasionally come up with some decent ideas. Afterwards, you just have to write the story yourself. And I would have it no other way. So anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. For more videos about self-publishing, blogging, freelance writing, or anything else I cover, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think that's going to do it for me today. I'm going to go play around with AutoCrit some more. I'll see you next time.